are listening live to the Vito and Vito Show.
Disrespectful to the executive branch.
I would remind you that extremism in the defense of liberty is no vice.
Don't sign the damn deal, and the president won't.
Therefore, I do not believe that the majority can vote a man's life or property or freedom away from him.
And we're live here on the Vito and Vito Show. I'm Vito.
And I'm Vito.
And you're listening to the Vito and Vito Show live from the basement of the Empire State Building. And Vito, how about you tell the people at home exactly what they're listening to?
You're listening to the Vito and Vito Show. Check out the website, www.vitoandvito.com. Give us a follow at Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Vito and Vito Show. We are two college-age, millennial, conservative libertarians
out of liberal hellhole,
Brooklyn, New York, and we are bringing you the best in the defense of free markets,
liberty and individualism.
There we go.
We hold no punches here on this show.
None whatsoever. If you're a fan of the show, you'd understand. Normally, I do a lot of the introductions, and Vito comes in with that other line there that he co-wrote. But we decided to switch it up this week. Let Vito take the reins.
He does not know my lines.
I don't know your lines.
So you're a terrible understudy.
Well, I'm not the understudy, Vito. I'm the lead.
Very funny. I introduced the show, so welcome to my show.
There we go. Anyway, we got a big show for you tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We just came back from the Values Voters Summit.
We made it back.
Yes, we did. Out of the Christian Conservative Conference, and I had issues with it.
Are we allowed to mention on air that we stopped at a gentleman's club?
I don't see why not. Depending on how you describe the gentleman's club, that's the thing.
Well, it was a gentleman's club. So
did you have fun there?
I liked it.
Where did you have more fun, the gentleman's club or the conference?
That's not
that hard of a decision. Yeah, the gentleman's club is where we had most of the fun. But anyway, the Christian Conservative Conference that we were at was an interesting conference, nonetheless.
Absolutely.
I every time we go to this conference, I find it to be interesting because the Christian conservatives are some of the most outspoken and passionate people I know in the party. Mm-hmm. They make up a huge voting block, and their voices absolutely deserve to be heard like everybody else's.
Of course.
Here's the kicker. Do I agree with them on lots of the issues? And the answer is no. When we're talking about gay conversion therapy, there was so much anti-gay things there. And when I say anti-gay, I don't mean like they hate gay people. They don't agree with the gay lifestyle. And for that...
And they are pursuing to convince and change their lifestyle with the help of God.
Right. They want to use God as a way. And we're going to get into the philosophical connotations of what exactly the Values Voters Summit was all about. And, I like going to this thing. I like engaging people in conversation. We have an interview from the group called PFOX, and that's an acronym. It stands for Parents and Friends of Ex-Gays and Gays. Right. And we had a civil conversation. Nothing was crazy. It wasn't like, we're not like leftists who go in and curse and scream and call you a homophobe.
We can agree to disagree.
Of course we can. And we're going to get into why we disagree, but I want you guys to listen to the PFOX interview. Her name was Flo Hubbs. She was such a sweetheart.
I love that name.
I love
Flo
her.
Hubbs.
She was so nice. She was so welcoming, and she was so professional. And she was a former lesbian. She says she was a former lesbian, and now, through the light of God, this is what she says. She's no longer a lesbian and advocates for
she tells
people
her
to
story
change.
In the interview that we'll play soon. But going down to Washington every so often is always great. We see old friends. We bumped into Michelle Bachmann.
Michelle Bachmann was there.
Good old friend. The Benham brothers.
The Benham brothers, good pals of those. Those guys are just awesome. They are, and what happened to them on HGTV? That network should be disgraced.
Absolutely,
because they are such good people. They care about what they do.
And we have
They care about their families.
We have the interview, of course, on VitoandVito.com.
Yeah, from a previous program. We weren't able to interview them this week. For this week, rather. Right. But, yeah, we did interview them a couple of times, actually, the Benham brothers.
Couple times. And it's all on the website, VitoandVito.com. You can easily search up their name. Benham. That's Benham, I believe. And any interview you want, we got, Michelle Bachmann we've interviewed before, Congresswoman, former ran for president. Search her name up.
Well, we always go to these conferences and we try to name and grab a big interview, and we got a pretty big interview this week. I was so proud to get this interview, Vito. How happy were you when you got this thing?
Well, you lucky I bumped into in the bathroom.
Matt
Oh, wrong guy.
Matt Bevin, governor of Kentucky. And this guy is absolutely awesome. He's, Kentucky governor
Award-winning.
Matt Bevin. Yes, he is an award-winning governor. And he actually made September officially National Bourbon, or for the state of Kentucky, Bourbon Month in the state of Kentucky.
Well,
So, an awesome guy, and he was so nice and professional and cordial. And we got an interview. We did a 2-part interview, really. Us, the Vito and Vito Show, and our friend Gene Baradelli from Behind Enemy Lines. Check out the website, behindenemylines.us. And it was great to have them on. It was absolutely great. Anyway, Matt Bevin is there. And we also have our friends from Liberty Health Share.
Of course.
Have you heard of this company, Vito?
Have I heard of them?
Have you heard of it?
No.
This really is the pioneering company right now in health cost sharing. Liberty Health Share. Our friend Dale Bellis, we're going to play that interview for you later. So you get a little taste of what this thing is about. We ask some more in-depth questions. We've interviewed Dale before, but this time we really go into some depthful conversation about what Liberty Health Share is about. I want you guys to listen to that. That's going to be later on in the program. Anyway, let's start off with the big interview of the night. PFOX, Parents and Friends of Ex-Gays. It's a contentious issue. The GOP included gay conversion therapy, or mentions it in its platform in 2016, this year.
Right now.
So I want you to listen to this interview. It is a tough conversation to have as libertarians on social issues. We're very libertarian on social issues. I would call myself a libertarian on social issues. I want you to listen to the PFOX interview right here with Vito and Vito.
And here we are, Vito and Vito, at the Values Voters Summit for the 3rd year in a row. We just love coming to this thing. And we have here somebody from PFOX. You can explain to us what that is and the acronym, what it stands for. Flo Hubs. Flo, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. I'm from Peoria, Illinois, but PFOX stands for Parents and Friends of Ex-Gays and Gays. And I'm an individual who had lived for 14 years as a lesbian woman. 9 of those years, I had been married to another woman of the same sex. And I found out later in time that marriage of woman and woman did not work. It did not glorify God. And because God's power was stronger than my self-desire, God helped break that chain, that what I call a bondage, of that same-sex marriage. And PFOX helped me with finding materials and things, and as I've done a lot of research through some of their links and some of their other writers that are connected with them and doctors with PhDs, I've found out that there's no such thing as a gay gene, and that the same-sex attraction is just a personal desire. It's not something that we're born with.
Well, I mean, this is what I've learned in my studies of the subject and whatnot. But we don't really know yet what makes somebody gay. So we don't know if they're born that way. We don't know if it's a factor of social influences. We don't know if it's a combination of both. We don't know if it's something else. So we don't really know yet. And I think it's hypocritical and just wrong for the gay community really to come out and say you're born that way when they don't even know the facts. And as a libertarian, as much as I want to go ahead and side with everybody for doing what they want to do, I think you need to be correct in what you're doing. And for them just to blanketly say that you're born this way, that doesn't really uphold the truth, which is, I think, the worst part. So now, here's my question to you, Flo. You said that you were a lesbian, and then what happened was you saw the light of God, and then you stopped becoming a lesbian, I guess you could say, right, for lack of a better word. Okay, so now my question to you was it a biological change? Was it not interested in your partner anymore? Or was it a religious intervention that sort of spurred the change? Were you into God before, or were you into God afterwards?
I had went to a church, and so I was seeking God, and I was seeking a relationship with Jesus. And my partner later was the one who actually said to me, I don't believe our relationship is right in God's eyes. And she was the one who then moved out of the house. And so it was that form of devastation that made me really search out for God. And one of my questions to him was, are you real? Do you care about this? Do you care about me? Do you see what's happening? And God has a way of swooping down into our hearts and showing us that he cares. It was a process. It wasn't just quickly, I no longer thought of women, but a journey and a process of wanting a closer relationship with God through Jesus that helped me to eliminate that mental feeling and that physical feeling of desiring another woman.
Well, I mean, we've, and I want to just transition to this, over the idea of conversion. Gay conversion therapy has been very controversial as of late. The GOP platform has put elements of that or support of it, or at least has even included the words gay conversion therapy in its platform. And as of this year, in 2016, and President Obama seeks to completely stop gay conversion therapy. So now, I personally don't really care what happens. I mean, people have a right to pursue any type of therapy I think they believe in, as long as they're all okay with it. So I don't see the problem with gay conversion therapy per se. But I mean, if we're talking about if it's effective or not, I got 2 questions for you, Flo, and then we'll wrap it up here. Does gay conversion therapy work? And should the Republican Party, our Values Voters Summit, we're appealing to Republicans and Christian conservatives, should we be trying to attract and include that into our platform, the idea of a gay conversion therapy? Was that not isolate other voters?
I believe gay conversion therapy works. I have some very cherished friends who have told me their story, from men who were with men as well as women who were with women, who saw therapists, and their therapist was able to help them handle the difficulties that they were going through and help them to turn that corner and see that there's a greater power that will give them more of an identity. And for me, once I really embraced my identity in Christ, I didn't see a therapist. So I wasn't part of that population that has been involved in therapy, but I am in agreement with therapy that will get to the root of a problem, because it's that underlying problem that generates the homosexual urge.
Well, what's the problem? Is it emotional? Is it a childhood thing? What is the problem? What is the problem? What's your problem? Is what I'm trying to say.
It's probably a combination of both, and it's not really cut and dry. Oh, this person was sexually abused, and so they're going to be gay. It's not that easy, but there can be abandonment issues. There can be sexual abuse issues. These are common denominators that happen with people that I have spoken to that have left the gay lifestyle. The men and women that I've spoken personally with, that, there was common denominators of neglect, abuse, sexual abuse, physical abuse, and sometimes just something that was perceived as neglect. The father working all the time was perceived as not being there carefully. So looking for an emotional attachment. Where can I put my emotional sense and get that well-being? And when I was involved in the gay community, that was one of their strong points. They said, we don't care. We love you the way you are. And that's something we need to really make as our strong point, is it's okay. I love you, and your identity can be stronger than that. So the root causes homosexuality and acting as a gay person is a reflection of some of those childhood things that come up: teasing, abuse, abandonment, neglect, some of those things.
Flo Hubbs of PFOX, this is a very contentious issue, and I'm happy that we get to hear the other side, because, we might not agree on 100% of the points. However, the difference is we are going to unbiasedly hear your side of the story and hear other, because it's not just Caitlyn Jenner and the rest of them. There's also another side of the story that's not being shown in the media, and that's why we're here. We want to at least bring these stories to light. Flo, where can we find more about PFOX?
PFOX does have a webpage. And it's www.pfox.org. So that's Parents and Friends of Ex-Gays and Gays, because our director still has a son who's living with another man. So we try not to discriminate regardless of who a person is living with.
All right. Thank you very much, Flo, for joining us.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And that was the PFOX organization, Parents and Friends of Ex-Gays, here on the Vito and Vito Show. All right, Vito, what'd you think of that interview?
Interesting, to say the least.
Interesting, to say the least, and I have to say, because I want to get people's perspectives on this, so tweet at us at Vito and Vito Show. I want to hear what you have to say. This is what I heard throughout this entire interview from their perspective. And I hope that, first of all, we were cordial and we were respectful, and I think that's what we were. But I want to get the point across right now that when we were talking with the people from PFOX, and a lot of other groups there at the Values Voters Summit, they held the notion, the premise, that homosexuality is a disease. And I want to make it very clear right now, I don't see it as a disease. You're going to have to explain to me what makes it a disease. So when they argue that homosexuality is a problem, it's a mental disorder, it's a disease, whatever, I don't see it as the case. What a lot of the Christian conservatives do is they'll hold God's way as the standard, the way being men and women are supposed to be together, and anything else, and of course the commandments and following all, what God says. And anybody that deflects away from that is not a perfect person. Vito, you're a Christian.
Right.
And as an atheist, I can't look at these groups. They have every right to be there, of course. They have every right to talk, and we have every right to engage them in conversation. But as a Christian, I don't see... You tell me, you're the Christian. I just don't see how... First of all, with we'll have a whole show on God maybe later. But I'm just talking about this that should be a fun show. But I'm just talking about this specific issue. Why is it that the Christians, especially at the Values Voters Conference, regard homosexuality as such a terrible thing? Like it's an evil lifestyle. It's on par with pedophilia and stuff and bestiality, which really isn't even the case at all. Flo made the case that, gay people are gay because they have traumatic experiences in their childhood, or they came from broken homes, or there's abuse.
I don't see how that correlation could be, because somebody has a broken family, so they turn out gay, or this or that.
There's plenty of gay people who come from good homes.
Of course, but what I don't understand is how this could be a choice, or how it's not what God wants, but this isn't something I believe gay people choose. How can you choose to be attracted to the same sex?
I see what you're saying.
Can you choose, Vito?
No.
So how could they? I think it's natural you're attracted to a certain person. If you're a Christian, do you want to go against God and have homosexual attractions?
I think the bigger question here is, when you ask a gay person, are you born gay? A lot of them will say, yeah. And really, in reality, we don't really know what makes somebody gay. We don't know if it's a matter of the environment. We don't know if that's how they're born. The gay gene theory has been debunked. So we don't really know, what makes a person a homosexual. But we do know that homosexuality exists. Is it a choice? Is it a way they want to live? Honestly, I don't see it as being, like you said, as a choice. I can't see how people say, well, I kind of want to live like this. Maybe some do. Everybody's different. It's very hard to pinpoint.
You still have to have attraction.
And that's really the question. What makes somebody biologically attracted, involuntarily, to the same sex? And even though science will continue to answer that question, I don't see a gay person any less as I do a straight person. And it's not a liberal argument to take. It's not a libertarian argument to take, or an anti-conservative. I think it's really just people living on this earth, and the more and more we continue to attack gay people, right. And when I say it, I don't want to use the word attack because they're not hurting them. They have every right to say what they want to say.
There are people who do want to legislate this view and get the government involved, which I completely disagree with.
Of course.
But even at a different point, when you want to persuade people and get involved in their personal lives, as a Christian, I've learned that God judges. So who am I to judge another person? So when I finish my life, God judges me. God judges the gay people. God judges everybody. So it doesn't matter what I think or how I should try to change their mind. Sure, you can tell them, just like when you see somebody smoking, you should tell them it's bad to smoke, you're hurting yourself. Fine, if you feel if you should tell a gay person, God doesn't want you to be gay, repent. Fine. But to go so out of your way, I think it's a little too much to do. Because ultimately, it's in God's hands.
In a way. I will say this, because we're going to break, and when we come back, I guess we could talk a little bit more about it and move on to some different interviews. But I will say, ultimately, and I want to touch on gay conversion therapy real quick. Ultimately, we're not against homosexuality, and I don't think, P. Fox thinks that gay people are bad people per se. They just disagree with their lifestyle, so I get their argument there. And the difference is we don't have a problem with this lifestyle. I don't consider it right or wrong. I consider it amoral. Doesn't matter. It's independent of morality. It's who people are. And then they talk about gay conversion therapy. If a person wants to go ahead and undergo the process, whatever that is, of gay conversion therapy, they have every right to. It's a contract. They have every right to do it. President Obama seeks to do it federally to ban gay conversion therapies. And people on the left are like, this is great for social justice. And I'm like, no. Where does he have the authority? Where does he have the moral right to do something like that? Of course he doesn't. But ultimately, when we're talking about this issue, I want it to be known, I don't support the practice. I think it's ludicrous. I think it's insane. But it's important to understand that I recognize that people have a right to do it. We're going to break. When we return here to the Vito and Vito Show, more talk about P. Fox and the Values Voter Summit when we return.
Who might you save?
Your mother, your father, your husband, uncle, aunt, son.
Learn FAST, F-A-S-T, the sudden signs of a stroke, and you could save
your friend, teacher, boss.
F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. F-A-S-T. That's F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. The sooner they get to the hospital, the sooner they'll get treatment. And that can make a remarkable difference in the recovery of
your neighbor, the waiter, grandmother, grandfather.
So learn FAST, the sudden signs of a stroke, then pass it on, because you never know who might save you.
Your wife, your colleague.
Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
It may be hard to believe, but people just like you are already saving money. FeedThePig.org makes it easy. Their simple savings plan teaches you how to start saving without going overboard. So you don't need to mooch off your friends.
You gonna finish that grape?
You mean the one in my mouth?
You don't need to stop buying the necessities.
What you're smelling is a natural musk.
Ew.
You don't need to be a medical test subject.
How do you feel?
Mostly okay. Sometimes, though.
You don't need to get a second job as a stuntman.
We need a new stuntman. Let's break for lunch.
You just need an internet connection. Don't get left behind. Start your personal savings plan with the tips and tools on feedthepig.org. That way, you don't need to sell your soul to the devil.
$15 is the best I can do.
All right, deal.
Brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs, the California Society of CPAs, and the Ad Council.
Fighting the Common Core standards? Need a powerful tool to help inform others on this harmful education initiative? You're covered with Common Ground on Common Core, the collection of essays by 20 top education experts and activists. Reviewers call it the best single resource on the topic. You can share it with literally anyone. Order your print or digital copy of Common Ground on Common Core today. Just visit resoundingbooks.org. That's resoundingbooks.org. And get $2 off when you tell them Vito and Vito sent you. Paid for by Resounding Books Pack.
It's important to plan ahead for emergencies, like the storm. When it kicked in, we had a plan.
Separated.
We were able to get in touch with each other in no time.
Idea how to find each other.
The whole experience was
the most frightening 10 hours of my life.
If there's one piece of advice I'd offer other moms out there, it's to stay calm and keep to the plan.
Message.
Some parents plan ahead, some don't. Make sure you know where to find your family in an emergency. Start your plan at ReadyPA.org. Brought to you by ReadyPA, FEMA, and the Ad Council.
And we're back here on the Vito and Vito Show. P. Fox interview from Values Voter Summit. Just wrapping up here. I'm Vito.
I'm Vito.
And Vito,
want you to check out the website, www.vitoandvito.com. Give us a
All right.
follow, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Vito and Vito Show. I want the people to know what they're looking for.
you're doing the show so nonchalantly.
I'm not
With your
feeling well. I'm
feet
under the
up.
weather. I know you guys can definitely hear it.
Oh, poor Vito. You know, it's all the traveling.
That's probably what
We're
it
just
is.
on tour.
So, yeah, that's what it is. The Vito and Vito speaking tour. But nonetheless, at the interview with P. Fox, parents and friends of ex-gays, go back and listen to this interview if you have the opportunity to do so.
Mhm. So we have 2 more interviews, right?
We do, and I just want to wrap up this P. Fox thing. Nice people,
Sweethearts.
do they help the party? Because if we turn around and completely disregard them, we disregard a good, a chunk of the Republican base. What do we do?
I think they do not help the philosophical cause of the brand conservatism.
I don't think so neither. I don't think so neither. You disagree? Tweet at us at Vito and Vito Show. I just do not think so. I think the more and more they sit there and the more and more they talk about legislating, some groups want to legislate morality. Other groups want to just encourage conversion therapy or belittle the lifestyle of a homosexual person. I think they're all wrong, and I don't think they're right for the direction of the conservative cause and the philosophy of conservatism, which means limited government, individual liberty, and liberty. What does liberty mean? Being free from coercion. And being free to live your life as you choose. No one's trying to stop them. But I think ultimately, some groups are trying to stop them. I should be careful of what I say. But, a group like this, P. Fox, they're there, and they are anti-gay lifestyle. I think that's the way you got to put it. The media won't do that. The media won't call it. They'll call them anti-gay, and they'll slander against them, and I can't do that. If anything, they're anti-gay lifestyle. That's what the group is about. The question is it wrong to be gay? Who are you hurting? What is wrong? What is breaking when somebody is gay? And these groups hold God in the standard that they do, and it's a Christian conservative conference. But to me, it doesn't. As an atheist, I don't see it as an appealing factor. It's not a good argument. Would the Christian to my left agree?
I agree.
All right, great. You're damned to hell.
Yeah, well, great. 2 more interviews we have. Vito, do you want to spin the wheel?
Yeah, if you want to spin the wheel, what do you got?
Governor Bevin?
Good! Matt Bevin!
Oh, buddy.
Governor of Kentucky, here on the Vito and Vito Show.
Gene Baradelli with Red Nation Rising Radio here at the Value Voters Summit. Have the pleasure of speaking with Governor Matt Bevin. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
You're welcome, Gene. Good to be with you.
Well, congratulations as well on the Statesmanship Award that you got from the D. James Kennedy Foundation. It's a great honor.
It really is a great honor. It's a great honor at several levels. I mean, not the least of which is to be recognized as a Christian, but also as a statesman. It's a double honor that I'm not sure I deserve, but I was grateful to receive.
Well, we got Vito and Vito coming in here, joining us from the Vito and Vito Show, in case you didn't catch the name there. A couple of guys from Brooklyn hanging out with a governor, and we have no bourbon. What's going on here?
I don't know, Governor. I heard September is a big month for
bourbon month?
There's a lot of celebrations of this. Is not only officially Bourbon Month in Kentucky, but there are many celebrations of it as well. Although, frankly, every month is Bourbon Month in Kentucky.
And in our household as well. So listen, we caught some of your Twitter earlier, and a lot of the great lines that in your speech today. Tell people who weren't at the conference about things that you want them to know about value voters and the importance of being socially conservative, especially with this election cycle.
I'm telling people, be socially conservative if in fact you are. Don't fake it. If you're not, it's never too late to do the right thing. I would encourage you to be informed. The more informed people are, the more conservative they tend to become. But I would encourage those who are conservative to be bold, to be unapologetic. I just was interviewing with someone else, and this is the greatest thing for young guys too, Vito and Vito, I'll tell you, and those of your listeners. I mean, be bold. Stop apologizing for the greatness of America. Stop apologizing for the things that we believe. Stop allowing ourselves to be intimidated and believe that we're the only ones not allowed to have an opinion for fear of being, misdirected or being a phobe or a whatever.
Well, you talk about not being afraid to stand in what you believe in. Donald Trump. I'm voting for him enthusiastically. Do you think that's a guy?
Calm down a little bit. Calm down a little bit.
Do you think that's a guy who stands up for what he believes in? Because there's a lot of contention on this issue.
Here's the reality. He's never been in political office, so it's easy to take shots and go, we don't know if he's going to do this or that. Here's what I would tell people. This idea that we're looking for the perfect candidate, it doesn't exist, folks. It doesn't. Stop holding out for somebody perfect. There is no perfect person. There never has been. There never will be. And if people want to fall on their little sword on principle in some remote corner of the battlefield, what have you done? You've done nothing to affect the outcome of the war which goes on, but without your ability to have any involvement. There are the battles and there is the war. The war continues. The left is not giving up. We have to sometimes concede certain battles, make accommodations in the middle of the battle, forego certain battles, whatever the case might be, but the war goes on. Stay engaged. The idea that you're going to sit this one out, sit on your hands because you don't have the perfect candidate or the one you wanted is an insane idea because you are affecting the outcome significantly. There is a cost and an opportunity cost to everything, and the opportunity cost of not being engaged is to get someone like Hillary Clinton elected, and heaven help America and each of our respective families and our children and grandchildren if we allow that kind of liberal, lawless, godless type of thinking to take control of America.
Talking about the split within the party, the left likes to put us all in little boxes. Libertarians, social conservatives, middle of the road, whatever have you. Being here at Value Voters, why aren't more libertarians engaging with social conservatives? There's so much more in common than there are differences there, and you kind of embody that.
This is, I'm grateful to be sort of appreciated by people from a number of different approaches. I mean, from the earliest days, a lot of libertarian folks supported me, and I'm grateful for that. It's largely because I believe in the Constitution of the United States. I believe in the greatness of America. I believe in the principles that this nation was founded on. But I'll tell you this, the Kentucky state motto, which is on our flags, is united we stand, divided we fall. We've got to stop being we need a vision. It's been said, without vision, the people will perish. We as conservatives, regardless of our ideological stripes, we've got to be united. We've got to have a vision and stop celebrating our division. We celebrate our division, celebrate our common vision, and be united, because we will fail if we are divided.
You know, and just to wrap things up, one of the things we do at Red Nation Rising is we always make sure that people are aware of listening. Money and people is what makes politics happen. We want to make sure that people support you in all your endeavors and initiatives, how they can get in touch with the governor's office and to assist you in any way possible, either politically or legislatively. There's so many grassroots organizers in Kentucky that want to get behind you and get closer to what you're doing.
I would encourage people to go to mattbevin.com, mattbevin.com, or look at us on Facebook or Twitter. I mean, you can mattbevin, Matt Bevin, simple, 9 letters. Find us there. I'd be grateful. But I'll tell you, get engaged with people locally. Support your local candidates at every level. Write them checks, knock doors, make phone calls. What are you waiting for? Get off your duffs and get out there. If you care about this, care now. If you're going to be engaged now. If you're going to work now, because time is of the essence.
No time like the present. Thank you so much, sir.
That was Governor Matt Bevin of the great state of Kentucky.
Where's the bourbon?
There's the bourbon. I drank it all, Vito. That's why I'm a little under the weather.
Drinking?
Yeah, doing shots with Matt Bevin. Cool guy.
Again.
Cool guy.
I like him.
Right?
He's cool.
And he's, he challenged Mitch McConnell a couple years ago.
I really like him.
Yeah. So he's a Tea Party guy. Used to hang out with Tea Party Express. So I'm a big fan of Matt Bevin. I think he stands for the right causes. And I'm willing to support him. I think he said everything right about that interview. Specifically about libertarians, when he's like, how come there's not more libertarians here? When our friend Gene asked, why are there not more libertarians here? And the answer he gave was pretty good. He's like, let's get them out there. Libertarians are instrumental now to the conservative cause. I think that's
we need
beautiful.
To find what we have in common. Because we're all on the right wing, we're all part of the Republican Party for a reason. Not because we disagree about the gay community. Because there is so much more affecting our country right now.
Oh, of course, absolutely.
Landscape.
Absolutely.
You know, like Ronald Reagan.
Right.
3 pillars.
3 pillars of conservatism.
Not 100.
That's right.
And arguing about little details of all of them.
That's true. That's very, very true.
Oh, he wants a wall, but he wants a fence. Oh, he wants a moat. Just close the damn border.
Should we have alligators in the moat, or should we have, like, little
Trolls.
Little trolls.
Troll. I would hire little people.
You know what?
Okay.
Before some midget organization comes down on us, can you be careful?
Oh, please.
All right. But I like what he said of them about libertarians. I also liked what he said about Donald Trump. Get out there and support him. It's Trump or Hillary. This woman is sick, both literally and figuratively.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
At the 9/11 ceremony?
She passed out.
She had to leave early.
Supposedly, if you didn't see the video, thank you, Vito. She passed out because she left early from the site. And initially, people said it was heat stroke, and now they're saying it's BS. And then they said it was pneumonia. So can we even trust Hillary to tell the truth on her health?
Well, here's the thing. She was leaving, and you can see she was like all stiff. And they almost dropped her when the Secret Service went to transfer her to help her into the van. And they said they went to Chelsea's apartment. Which, one, is either BS or completely rude because she left halfway through the 9/11 ceremony.
She fainted, Vito!
Then you don't go say, I'm going to Chelsea's apartment.
Where is she going to go? To the hospital?
I don't know. You are the former Secretary of State running for president.
She went to Chelsea. I can't. Come on, look. Are we going to attack Hillary on somebody front? This is what we're going to pick?
Then they say, no, she's fine. They're going to Chelsea's apartment.
She went to Chelsea's probably to console herself.
It was 70 degrees outside in New York.
Oh, I'm not saying that, it wasn't. She's sick. She's sick.
Yeah.
She's sick. She needs help.
Something like Alzheimer's.
I heard she has Parkinson's. There's so many things going around, but that woman is sick. There's clearly something wrong with her.
Yeah, it's nothing minor. It's not a cold.
That woman needs help. That woman needs some
like
serious help. And you know what? They're going to make fun of John McCain. Remember when they made fun of John McCain?
Oh, please, what?
He's old, and then he won't, he'll die, and then Sarah Palin will become president. That'd be awful.
Donald Trump would be the oldest elected president.
Okay, number one. Number two, they made the same problem with Reagan about his age.
Well, didn't he get Alzheimer's towards the end?
So they say. He was getting sick.
Fine, yeah.
Yeah, but they make it seem like, if you look at a lot of these books, the left books on Reagan.
Like he's decrepit when he won the election. No.
Well, they said that Nancy took over and she ran the campaign and she was running the office. It wasn't the case. That Reagan was spaced out. It's all that stuff.
It was fine. Listen, but he was not physically, visibly ill. That you can't move.
No, Hillary is sick, but they make us. They're going to attack John McCain. They're going to attack. And I don't even agree with McCain on pretty much anything, but John McCain, if anything, was a man, ran for president, was a Republican, and the media and everybody attacked him on his age. I have yet to see a full report on Hillary's health on CNN, NBC, ABC, CBS, whatever I'm missing. Mainstream media won't call it out. Something's wrong with Hillary. We need to go check that out. Speaking of health, Liberty Health Share, our friend Dale Bellis, this is a great company. I want you to take a listen to this interview. Every time we see Dale, we always grab it for a quick spot. So it's not long. Give it a listen. Then we're going to break, and then we're going to come back here on the Vito and Vito Show, talk about Liberty Health Share, and forget about it moments of the week. Don't go anywhere.
Vito and Vito here with our good friend Dale Bellis of Liberty Health Share. Welcome back, Dale.
Thank you, Vito. I appreciate the opportunity to be with you guys.
Well, it is great to have you back, Dale. Answer to the good people at home, what is Liberty Health Share?
Yeah, Liberty Health Share is a nationwide nonprofit association of families, men and women, across the nation who've united around a common cause, and that's really paying for and sharing in each other's medical expenses. We do that without the aid of an insurance company or the government. It's just a regular, systematic way of meeting health care expenses on a whole different premise, and it's mutual aid, mutual assistance. It taps into the tradition of America of helping one another when we have a need, and we just employ that principle for healthcare.
Well, Obamacare has run into a lot of problems recently. A bunch of healthcare companies are pulling out of the exchanges. So does this mean that a lot of people are going to need some healthcare? They're going to need some health insurance or a health sharing plan. So what does Liberty Health Share offer them?
Yeah, it's really fascinating to me that it continues to show the flaws, the problems with insurance. Insurance as a mechanism is meeting these issues, these ceilings regarding pricing that they can't deal with. And so that's why we've abandoned the insurance model and instead have created a whole different paradigm, which is Vito or Vito, if you guys have a medical bill, we've got an entire community of people who are prepared to help share your cost. And we send our share amount, we call it, every month directly to the person who has the expense. We message them with cheer or encouragement or prayer, whatever the case may be, and we help pay each other's medical costs. That's a whole different mindset, frankly, than insurance. We are making healthcare sharing available to everyone, but they really have to evaluate, is this the premise? Are these the ethics that we identify with? If so, man, we welcome them. Come on in.
How about pre-existing conditions and drug coverage? How do you deal with that?
Yeah, we share in expenses related to pharmacy. Whenever you go to the doctor, it's prescribed to you. We'll share in that. You go to the hospital, all the medical or the prescription costs. We define it as 45 days before and 45 days after a hospital stay. People ask, why before? Well, sometimes you have to do use medication before you go for a surgery or something like that. That's all included. We don't share, however, in maintenance drugs. For instance, I'm a type 2 diabetic. We have a program with Liberty Health Share where we assign health coaches to particular conditions. That's one of them. But my meds every month I pay out of my pocket. So we're here to really help with those things that are unexpected and unaffordable. However, you asked me about pre-existing conditions. We don't share in pre-existing conditions in the first year. So people just need to be aware, and we define pre-existing as any condition in the last 2 years. You had something 5 years ago, we don't even address that. But within the last 2 years, so people need to look and make sure that this is suitable for them.
All right, Dale, where can we find more about Liberty Health Share and get people signed up?
LibertyHealthShare.org, LibertyHealthShare.org. Best place to go. There's a place to ask for an info pack. We call it a decision guide. Just give us your email and we'll ship it to you by way electronically or by mail, whatever the case may be. Phone number to talk to one of our valued advisors in our contact center, or just peruse the pages of the website, libertyhealthshare.org.
Dale Bellis of Liberty Health Share. Thanks a lot, Dale.
Man, thank you guys. It's a pleasure to be with you.
My man.
Who might you save?
Your mother, your father, your husband, uncle, aunt, son.
Learn FAST, F-A-S-T, the sudden signs of a stroke, and you could save
your friend, teacher, boss.
F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. F-A-S-T. That's F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. The sooner they get to the hospital, the sooner they'll get treatment. And that can make a remarkable difference in the recovery of
your neighbor, the waiter, grandmother, grandfather.
So learn FAST, the sudden signs of a stroke, then pass it on, because you never know who might save you.
Your wife, your colleague.
Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org, brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
It may be hard to believe, but people just like you are already saving money. FeedThePig.org makes it easy. Their simple savings plan teaches you how to start saving without going overboard. So you don't need to mooch off your friends.
You gonna finish that grape?
You mean the one in my mouth?
You don't need to stop buying the necessities.
What you're smelling is a natural musk.
Ew.
You don't need to be a medical test subject.
How do you feel? Mostly okay. Sometimes, though.
You don't need to get a second job as a stuntman.
We need a new stuntman. Let's break for lunch.
You just need an internet connection. Don't get left behind. Start your personal savings plan with the tips and tools on feedthepig.org. That way, you don't need to sell your soul to the devil.
$15 is the best I can do.
All right, deal.
Brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs, the California Society of CPAs, and the Ad Council.
Fighting the Common Core standards? Need a powerful tool to help inform others on this harmful education initiative? You're covered with Common Ground on Common Core, the collection of essays by 20 top education experts and activists. Reviewers call it the best single resource on the topic. You can share it with literally anyone. Order your print or digital copy of Common Ground on Common Core today. Just visit resoundingbooks.org. That's resoundingbooks.org. And get $2 off when you tell them Vito and Vito sent you. Paid for by Resounding Books Pack.
It's important to plan ahead for emergencies, like the storm. When it kicked in, we had a plan.
Separated.
We were able to get in touch with each other in no time.
Idea how to find each other.
The whole experience was
the
fine.
most frightening 10 hours of my life.
If there's one piece of advice I'd offer other moms out there, it's to stay calm and keep to the plan.
Some parents plan ahead, some don't. Make sure you know where to find your family in an emergency. Start your plan at readypa.org, brought to you by ReadyPA, FEMA, and the Ad Council.
And we're back on Vito and Vito. Check out the website, www.vitoandvito.com. Give us a follow on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Vito and Vito Show. Before the break, we closed out with an interview from our good friends Dale Bellis at Liberty Health Share. Vito, ain't he cool?
I like him. He's been on the show
Dale.
a couple times.
He has.
Liberty Health Share, the new alternative to normal health insurance, Obamacare, high premiums.
That's true. I love Liberty Health Share. It's a great idea. It's a health cost sharing business model. It's completely different than insurance. And I love the fact that he's you're able to take control of your health care. You know, we choose to help one another, which is pretty cool. So Liberty Health Share, that's the thing for me. Anyways, the time of the week again. Forget about it, moments of the week.
Forget about it.
Forget about it.
Forget about it. Paul, forget about it.
That's right. Forget about it, moments of the week on Vito and Vito. We break down some of the craziest moments this past week. Vito, what do you got?
Ready for this?
No.
Apparently, Webster's Dictionary, they add new words to the dictionary. Apparently, they added the word forget about it.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I read.
Hey, ain't that cool?
Look at that. But they also throw in some weird new words like
what?
Generacist. A generacist is a noun. It's a person who discriminates against members of younger generations.
Like a cranky old man?
Yeah, which is weird because...
Generacist?
Generacist. Which, good job, Webster.
Good.
Racist, the root word of generacist, means race, not generation.
Yeah, words don't have meaning anymore. Evidenced by the Supreme Court. Remember that? The Obamacare decision? The second Obamacare decision?
Listen to this. Hashtaggery.
It's another word they made up?
The crafting or use of hashtags for social media posts. They also define the alt-right.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, what do they say about us?
Adherents.
Go ahead.
Adherents of far-right ideologies that are an alternative to mainstream media. Broadly, the alt-right is a loose collection of bloggers, activists, intellectuals, and media figures. It's conservative but unconcerned with the usual right-wing platform of low spending, low taxes, and small government. Instead, the alt-right is preoccupied with the status of white America.
That's true. To a degree. You know what? That's actually very true. White Americans are under attack today, absolutely.
Well, I'm not preoccupied.
No, it is much, that's a big issue.
They also define burkini.
Okay, what's that?
It's a burqa and a bikini combined.
Those are two complete opposite things. Bikinis show skin, burqas don't. How do they go together?
Chronicide.
What's that?
Chronicide is the killing of time.
Is that like we're trying to do right now? We're chroniciding time? All right.
Mm-hmm.
Is it, all right, keep going. What else we got?
Wexed.
What's that mean?
It's a verb.
Okay.
It means to walk and text at the same time.
Wexed?
Yes. Another conjunction
Sexed.
of words is shittiest.
I'm sorry?
Shittiest.
Okay, you better pray to God that this ain't gonna get us fined. What is this about?
It's an adjective.
Okay.
It's shameful and hideous. Webster's Dictionary is just combining words now.
Even forget about it in a way. Forget about it.
These are contractions, right? Conjunctions, contractions.
I wasn't an English major.
Conjunction.
Is that what they do? So they're just smashing words together?
Yeah. Uncomplicate.
That's a new word? Uncomplicate?
Uncomplicate. It's to simplify something.
I thought it was not complicate. Isn't it not complicate? Let's not complicate things. Now we can let's uncomplicate things.
Uncomplicate.
Oh
Ready?
my
It gets
God.
better.
Go ahead.
Chesticle.
What, chest and a
Man,
testicle?
your chesticle is showing.
What's a chesticle?
It's a noun. It's the front part of the body between the neck and the waist. Also known as your chest.
Your chest?
They renamed chest.
Are you sure this is real?
This is Webster's dictionary.
I haven't bought a dictionary since grade school, but I'm
Good.
going to buy it now just to see if any of these ludicrous terms are in there.
Bejumbled.
Okay. Bejumbled?
It means confused or discombobulated.
What else you got? Come on, one more. One more. My favorite is when they made selfie into a word.
Yeah, you see what I mean? This is really happening.
The world's crumbling. The world's crumbling. All right, come on, we got no time. Move on.
It's just sick.
And this is the Oxford. What is it? Webster's or Oxford?
Webster, Merriam-Webster.
Oh, okay. Again, move on. What else you
got? Ready for this? This is great. You're gonna love this one. They're apparently working on this in Europe. It's called Dr. Orgasm. Apparently, they have this new thing that they can inject into people that give you greater orgasms.
This is great.
So, do you mind if I read to you the opening paragraph of this article?
I hope it's not dirty.
I don't think so.
Your subjective opinion on this doesn't really matter, but go ahead.
7 years ago, Dr. Charles Runnels' lover surprised him at his office, demanding that he inject blood into her clitoris as a Valentine's Day present. She hiked up her dress, hopped onto the exam table, and motioned for Runnels to put on his headlamp.
Oh my God.
She explained that she'd been watching him inject his own penis with blood for about a year, and that while his bigger and stronger erections had been fun, she'd grown tired of the one-sided sexual enhancement. It was her turn. So Runnels bowed between the legs, numbed her up, and shot her up.
Does it work?
So apparently, this is not approved by the FDA or anything.
I would assume it is. What type of blood is it? His blood?
Yeah.
All right, so go ahead. So he's shooting himself up with his own blood in his penis, and does it work?
85% of people who have tried this have reached better orgasm.
Hey, this might be an option.
And quicker.
This might be.
More than 20,000 women have had the procedure done.
Do they inject from the chesticle?
The chesticle.
For better orgasm. That's interesting. I gotta say, Vito, the stuff people come up with.
I'm sorry, it's not Europe. It's Alabama.
What did you say it was originally?
Europe. I thought you read England. They usually come up with these crazy scientific things.
This is in Alabama?
This is in Alabama.
Bama,
where the doctor said that vibrators are illegal in this one town. But he's experimenting and revolutionizing the sexual world. So that's great.
I can't anymore. What else you got, Vito, the last one?
Speaking of everyone's favorite hobby, sex addiction is at an all-time high.
Really?
Yes. Fascinating. They've been interviewing more and more people, and it's a medical condition now that apparently people are obsessed. They have addiction. Because the article went to how celebrities always have sex addictions, and they go to sex rehab, and they're all happy, right? Everything's all great and dandy. But what about the normal person? If celebrities can have sex addictions, why can't I?
So sex addictions have rose, is that what you're trying to tell me?
Yeah, yes, people are now seriously addicted
to
sex, which I don't understand, because some say I drink a lot, or smoke a lot, or gamble a lot. But, I mean, what's a sex addiction? What is that?
I think when you can't go without sex, like any type of addiction.
Even when I start scratching myself?
I guess. I mean, I don't think it's a physical addiction. More like a mental addiction. You know, like marijuana, like pot. People get mentally addicted to something like that, you know?
Sure, in that case you can get addicted to anything, right?
Well, that's really what addiction's about.
But if everybody has it, isn't that the norm then?
Well, I don't know. I guess you got a point.
How do you diagnose
it? You know, it's a high libido, a high sex drive. What's the big deal? Whatever.
Am I?
When you were gone for that week, when I filled in for you, and I just did it alone, the show. There was you know, there was an orgy tent at I think the Burning Man festival. It was a tent. Yeah, it was a big tent at the Burning Man festival.
You mean heaven?
No. It was a big tent at the orgy at the Burning Man festival, and it was an orgy tent. You went in there and had orgies with everybody.
See, Muslims get the 72 virgins, and Christians get orgies.
I mean, I'm shocked. I can't believe this is a real thing, but whatever. People are happy. Anyway, Vito, next week on the Vito and Vito show, we got a big show for us. We got a big show planned, right or wrong?
Absolutely.
Who's coming on?
North America Infidels. He's on our show before.
All right.
Our good friend Logan. And
Christopher
also,
Logan.
Yes. And Tommy Robinson.
Tommy Robinson.
From the UK.
This is going to be great. It's an anti-Islamic terrorist show.
2 of the biggest anti-Islamic activists there is in this world.
And maybe
join Vito and Vito to discuss the truth about Islam.
And maybe somebody else. A surprise will shock you on the Vito and Vito show in Brooklyn.
It's nothing but the truth.